When it comes to reverse dieting, most people focus on how many calories to get to, but what matters much more is how long you reverse diet. If you don't do it long enough, your body won't adapt, you won't respond when you do cut, you'll undo your progress from your reverse diet, and you'll have to start over. So not going long enough is an absolute disaster. So today I'm going to show you exactly how long to reverse diet to make sure you can get results. So before I get into the total times, there's a couple things I want to preference first. One is that the total time I'm referring to is both the time increasing calories as well as holding the higher calories. The other thing is you absolutely cannot reverse diet too long, but you can reverse diet too short. But I'm telling you, I've seen it time and time again. The people who take really long reverse diets and have a lot of patients coming back always see phenomenal results. So especially if you're someone who has a long history of extreme dieting, a lot of yo-yo dieting, and always rushing the process, these time frames I'm going to give you, you want to take seriously and understand these are minimum amounts I recommend. So just because it's the minimum doesn't mean if you hit that lower end, you should automatically start cutting again. Give yourself as much time as possible. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm gonna get into how long to reverse diet, but understand there's two main scenarios where you may have to reverse diet. One is coming from a long history of yo-yo dieting, crash dieting. You're maintaining your weight on a low amount of calories because you've just run your body into the ground and you need to start working your calories back up to get it back into a better position again. The second scenario is if you just finished a cut, you want to get your calories back up again, give your body a break, and you're going to cut again in the future. I'm going to get into that after I touch on scenario one, coming from a long history of dieting. Okay, for scenario one, if you're someone who has a history of dieting, but you've done it for about 5 years or less, then you want to make sure you reverse diet for at least 6, preferably up to 12 months. If you're someone who has a longer history of dieting, say between about 5 and 10 years, then you need some more time. I'm recommending at least 9 months to a year. If you can go even longer, great. And if you're someone who has a really long history, we're talking a decade plus of extreme yo-yo dieting, you need to give your body time here and spend at least a year, even a year and a half, if not more, working on getting your calories up, keeping them up, and making sure you put your body in a position to thrive again. And you may hear these things and think, why do I have to wait so long? And I want to explain briefly why you do need to take so long. You need to give your body a reason to let down its guarding against fat loss. It is mad at you. It is tired of you starving it, and because of your past methods, it's doing everything it can to keep you from losing weight. Rushing the process is exactly what's gotten you here, so be patient. Now, if that is something you struggle with, or you have a long history of dieting, not sure what to do, you feel like you're gonna screw things up, I've been helping people fix their metabolisms for a decade now, and I'm more than happy to help you. So if you're interested, fill out an application, there's a link in the description. Now for scenario two, where you're coming from just a regular cut, you finished, whether it's because you weren't seeing results anymore, you just got tired of dieting for whatever reason, anytime you finish your cut, it's a good idea to start working your calories back up. So in that case, the minimum amount of time you want to reverse diet before cutting again is at least however long you cut previously. So if you cut for 6 months, you want to reverse diet for at least 6 months. Cut for 3 months, reverse diet for at least 3 months. Now that is the minimum, and if you really want to maximize your physique, especially if you want to build more muscle, you could use a lot more time, preferably 2 to 3 times longer, if not more. For instance, a lot of times I go maybe 16 weeks of cutting, but then I'll spend the next year and a half, 2 years out of a deficit. But it also depends on how much you have to lose and how things were going when you stopped your diet as well. And for instance, if you're someone who has a lot of weight to lose and you spent the last year, year and a half, maybe 2 years plus dieting, that doesn't mean you need to spend another 2 years in a reverse diet before you can cut again. In that case, probably about 6 months at a minimum is a good idea. And it also depends on how well your body was responding when you finished your cut. For instance, if you were still seeing pretty good results and everything was going fine, but you decided to stop, take a break, which is always a good idea, well, you were still in a good position. Now you're in an even better position than you were before, so you can absolutely come back, get right back to it, and you should be fine. But with that being said, I know one of the biggest concerns you probably have is, what about weight gain? Am I going to gain a lot of weight? So while there's a lot of strategies you can do to help minimize weight gain during the process, understand that little bit you're going to gain is going to be well worth the trade-off of being able to come back down the road and see exponentially better results again. So don't let that stop you. But if you're really concerned about weight gain and want to do everything you can to avoid weight gain during reverse diet, then make sure you check out this video next, and I'll cover all the strategies you can take to help keep weight gain at bay. So check that out next, and I'll see you in that other video.